Hello, I'm here to make my last video on MiniOS Linux, and I want to show you my notes. Some of these you've already seen. We've already seen clear up to 60 here. Okay, I've made 3 rules for myself because I want to use this as a utility operating system. So I never want to hook the Wi-Fi to it. I want to try to do everything offline because I want to make sure I keep it just for that purpose. It'll hook the Wi-Fi fine. It runs Wi-Fi good. Don't make this a light operating system heavy. It's a light operating system now. I'll show you there that it is very light. In properties, see, it's only taking up about 1 gigabyte used, and right now I have two folders or 2 partitions. I made a companion partition called MiniOS Room. We'll try to talk about that later. Okay, some of this you already know about changing the configure system there. I'm just going to scroll down through and show you my notes. My power management, I really didn't change much of anything except the display. When I'm cloning drives, I don't like my screen blinking off, so I tried to make sure when plugged in, I tried to make sure to turn everything off to never there. So that's pretty much that. We'll get right into the changes there that we made. Okay. Here is the actual jump drive, the 2 folders that we ended up with after the install. And just a little bit of a review of what we did on the last video. This configure system here. Swell up so you can see it. There's your username live. You can't really change that, but you can change your password. It was evil because it's the backward spelling of live, just like Tor is the backward spelling of root. And right here, your login screen. If you want to log in, auto log in, you can call that false, but I want it true because I don't want to put in my name and password. We talked about that. I can show you that can be changed. But don't add no spaces. Just simply put in true or false. Okay, so we are going to save that and exit out of it. Okay. Now our next thing is we'll go back to where we was before and go back into it in the MiniOS folder, and then we want to go into the boot and the grub, and right here is another configure system, the grub configure, and I'm going to show you it. I'm going to swell it up where you can see it. Okay, now set default. I know this from dual booting Windows and Linux Mint. Computers start counting with 0, where we start counting with 1, unless they're programmed otherwise to do so. So that set default is actually taking you to the resume previous session, which is where I want to be. I've done all this work so I can change my wallpaper and change the settings in that I want, and each time I boot to remember those changes. So I went down here one time when I logged in, and I chose this as an option to start fresh, and I lost everything that I'd set. Now when I booted back into it and let the default go back to resume previous session, I got it all back. But okay. But one thing I want to do, it says timeout 3. I don't want to see that options menu every time because it's unnecessary. I always want it to go straight to to this right here. I want it always to go straight to resume the previous session. So we're going to change this. If it was 3, we're going to change that to 0. which means timeout 3 seconds. It gives you 3 seconds to hit an arrow key so you can decide, and that'll stop the clock to decide which one you want to boot into. But I don't want to see it. I'm going to put it at 0 seconds, so it'll still be running, but it'll run so quick I won't see it. So we're going to save that. Okay. Now we can change what I call our first boot pick. We don't want to call it a. We're going to go back here again. Go into the boot. Now here it is one place, and when I renamed this a while ago, getting ready for it, I messed the name up, so I'm going to correct that so it'll look like yours. Okay, when I was preparing for this video, I made that mistake. Sorry about that. Yours should say boot logo PNG. There's one spot that it's at, and you go into grub, and here it is again. Okay, so in order to change that pick, we're going to tell it to look for another one. Okay, and so let me go in and show you this in the grub configure system, the grub configure file. We are going to swell this up again so you can see it better. And right here is one of the places looking for background image, boot logo, PNG. Whatever picture you put in there, make sure it's a PNG. And if you get one that's got like a different resolution, and it's a more of a higher graphical picture, that might give you some trouble too. Okay, but here we go. We're going to go back into this. The first place it looks for that picture, right here is the first start of our jump drive, is right here in boot. So what we want to do, instead of delete this, so we can always keep it around, we're going to choose rename, which is what yours should look like, that right there. So right after the logo part, we're going to put a 2, the boot logo PNG, and we're going to push enter right there. Okay. Now I have another picture ready. Whatever picture you put in there, name it boot logo PNG. And we'll put it in here, not in the folders, because it'll fall in the folders. Put it down here, and there it is. Okay, there's the boot. Now then, that's the configure file. We'll be looking for this one because it's looking for that particular name. Okay. And the grub, this one here needs to be renamed to boot logo 2, and press enter. And then whatever picture you put in here probably needs to be the same one if you want the same picture to appear, because it looks for it in 2 different places. I think what it is, it goes before the options menu and after the options menu. Is why it's looking in 2 different places. That's what I think. Not for sure about that. So the next picture, I've already got this one named, so now I'll be looking for that picture instead of that one. So we've got that done. Next is our partitioning. We're not going to cover that just yet. We're going to bring this up again. Okay, we'll go into the partitioning in a little bit. Okay, so we've done that. We've got my rules to go by, and we've got the configure system in the MiniOS, the configure system in the grub that we changed to set the timeout to 0, and to change the first boot pick. We've done that. Okay, if you want to, you can add the software HD Sentinel. I've got a video on that. The digger, I was going to put a game in there, one game to occupy myself while I was working, and it didn't work. So here again, I need to go back up to the top rule up here. Don't make the operating system too big, because it's a small one and we don't want to bloat it. So that's kind of good that it didn't work, because I really don't need it in there. Okay, in the operating system, the way I went and I changed the clock to LCD, and I unchecked the 24-hour clock. And I changed my wallpaper to one I choose. It's a nice deer wallpaper that I've put into the system. Power management, being that it is a disk utility disk operating system I'll be working with disk with, and I'll use maybe try out computers with. my display where it says plugged in, I change it to never, 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 and bright reduced 20%, but at reduce when, after when, never. So I basically don't let it blank out. I don't want no screensavers when I'm working and cloning the drive. I don't want no changes. So that's that part of it. Okay. Now then, you can see we have two partitions. I want to make another partition for this because this is running on FAT32, and I want to make another partition on my jump drive so I can drag pictures and stuff in and out of. If I want to put a video in it, and that way when you boot to MiniOS and if that is in another computer, the picture or video you drug in will be right here. The MiniOS will read this, and that way when you go from computer to computer, you'll have some files here that if you need to pull them in. If you want to go to a friend's house and watch a video, you could drag like a bigger video in here that would fit in exFAT format that wouldn't fit in the X30, or that wouldn't fit in the FAT32 format. So we're going to try to show you how we did that. We used a program called Gpart. It is in the repository. See if we can find it here. Right here it is. You can see it's check marked. I've already got it installed. So we're going to bring it up. Gparted. Okay, we're going to put our password in. Okay, here's Gparted. Okay, now right now it's reading my SD card. We don't want it there. We don't want to change that. We don't want to change our hard drive. Right here is my jump drive. Okay, and right here is our two partitions on the jump drive. See how small that partition is? We got it down to 5 gig, but remember that's only using about 1 gig. We're going to go ahead and do the properties check on it here. Properties check, 1 gig used. Okay, so 5 is plenty for it. And I've got a jump drive ordered for 64 gig, so yeah. Okay. What we want to do with this one here is show you how I did it. So we want to remove this one. We've got to unmount it. Okay. And then the big partition here, we want to delete it. Okay, and then this one we want to go ahead and use that unallocated space so it'll look about like what yours did. We want to unmount it. And then we want to resize this. Okay, we want to resize this, and we can put in any size we want to. We can put in 600,000. It's not going to matter, but that there will make it use the whole disk. Okay. Okay, let's put this up here. If you want to make sure it uses the whole thing, 600,000, and you can resize it. Bloop, and there it is. It's resized. It's got one little partition there. That might be for something such as file names and directory names, possibly something like that. Okay, but now we see where we will go ahead and allow this operation to take place. Apply this operation. Okay, so see, we've applied that operation. Okay, let's see what it looks like. Of course, it's unmounted, so it probably won't show up here, don't think. No, I didn't figure it would because it's not mounted. Okay, now what we want to do is this is about what yours should look like right here. What we want to do is add that partition that I just added. I want to show you how I did it. Okay, since this is already unmounted, we want to resize this, and what we want to do is take this back. If you want to put in a certain size, like if you want really close to an exact 5 gig, I think it's like 1024, you can take like a 5 times 1024. Let me see here. 1024. So you're looking at about right here. You want to put in like 5120 if that's how many you want. If you want a pretty accurate 5 gig, okay, and then hit move or resize. Okay. Now then you want to hit this to apply that. Apply all operations. Apply. Okay. That operation is completed. So we close that. Okay. And now then what we want to do here is take this unallocated area. We want to make a new partition. So we want to add the new partition. Okay. And so what we want to do is take and what we want to do is take and format to, we want exFAT. We don't want FAT32. We already got that. We want to put an exFAT right there. Okay. And I don't think it'll let me choose the label for this yet. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to apply this operation. Okay, that's done. That is applied, completed. Okay, now then, we want to give it a name, so we're going to label the file system to MiniOS Room because it's attached with MiniOS, so to speak, in the jump drive. We're going to give that name there. Okay. Then we're going to apply that. Okay. Now, that should be all. Let's see what it looks like. We probably, yep, there they are. There's the one we created. There's the MiniOS Linux. Okay, now all you want to do here is put in whatever you want. You can just choose create a new folder. What I'd like to do is put in like pictures MiniOS, and you can create a new folder, and you can put in like downloads. I'm gonna better spell it right. MiniOS, and you can put in here whatever you want. So, okay, hope you liked the video. I'm going to stop it there. This will be probably my last video on MiniOS. Hope you enjoyed it, and thank you so much for watching and stopping by the channel.